Here are some tips on how to determine what your basic equipment needs may be. The first thing you want to think about are the three different aspects of size. Number one, how many input channels do you need in your mixer? Number two, how many outputs do you need from your mixer? And number three, how much power or wattage do you need for your speakers and amps? Powered speakers can make things much easier because they have both the power amp and speaker integrated together into one cabinet. The basic rule of thumb in determining wattage is, for spoken word and no music, 1 watt a person. For full range sound with music, use 2 to 3 watts per person. Example, if you have a 200-seat church with music in your worship service, you should look for a system that with at least 500 watts of power handling. You'll need to think of the number of inputs you'll need on your mixing console. Some things to consider here. Number one, how many microphones are you going to need? Number two, how many instruments with direct outs? Number three, how many computer inputs? Number four, how many AV devices? And number five, how many open channels for future expansion? Something that is important to remember is most instruments are stereo line level signals, so you'll need to count those inputs as 2 for left and right. For determining the number of outputs from the mixing console, you need to determine how many different output mixes you're going to need. This will probably include, number one, different monitor mixes on stage. Number two, audio feeds to green rooms, cry rooms, and other ancillary rooms outside of the main chapel. And don't forget audio feeds for live streaming and recording. You'll need to determine where your speakers are going to be placed and how many speakers you will need to make sure you have good coverage of the entire sanctuary. It's a good idea to make a checklist of all the items before you go and talk to an audio professional. That's going to make your conversation easier and more fruitful.